Kochi is the sheriff of Hampton County, Massachusetts, which is where the city of Springfield is located. The officers are able to get the sheriff to come out of the casino so they can investigate. However, the sheriff won't make it easy for them.
My name is Lieutenant Colonel Lee Roger Wolfgram, and I am a storyteller. Welcome to the bunker. For this video, this one really bothered me a lot because I personally hold police to a higher standard. What led me to be so upset about this video, because this really shows corruption. It shows a sheriff's corruption, and I'm going to beat up on the sheriff right now because he deserves to be beaten up on. He ended up getting a DWI, and I'm not going to talk anymore. I'm just going to jump into that. But you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. With that said, let's just watch.
On September 21st, 2024, in Springfield, Massachusetts, officers investigate a vehicle parked at a casino with a missing tire and a completely destroyed rim. They then get the surprise of their careers as they find out who the car belongs to.
What's his name?
Nicholas Kochi is the
So here's the first thing I'll say. This is where my first concern is that the ability for officers to turn their cameras off and on, and there are policies that kind of outline the circumstances when they turn them off and on. My first thing that I'm watching, sometimes there is a reason to turn off the camera. I'm not going to say that's never the case, but I'm going to say that the discretion to turn them off and on, and particularly under these circumstances, makes me question things from the beginning.
Sheriff of Hampton County, Massachusetts, which is where the city of Springfield is located. The officers are able to get the sheriff to come out of the casino so they can investigate. However, the sheriff won't make it easy for them.
How you doing, Sheriff? Good, very good. Good. Hi, Lieutenant Corey Mackey. What's that? Who's busting what? We'll change his tire. Okay. Just to let you know, we came down to this. Yeah. We are recording, just so you know. Yeah. What happened? What's going on with her? I popped the tire. Do you know where? We're trying to, we were looking to see where you were in the casino and everything, and it's all good.
So here's what's happening here, just to read between the lines. What he's trying to do is he's trying to give a plausible story for the responding officer to put in his report. And he could, at this point, again, this most influential decision, the officer could right now take this investigation, take the lead the sheriff gave him, write a report that he just hit the curb. This thing all goes away.
Good. Change the tire. Okay. Okay. All right. The problem is, hang on for a second. Were you the one driving it? No. You weren't driving it? No.
This is the corruption. Okay. So he's lying. And that is, again, he really, I think is held to a much higher standard. The police don't expect people to lie to them, right? And he's the head cop.
Okay, who was driving you? A friend of mine. A friend of yours? He's in the casino now? Yeah. Okay, we'll see that too. All right, but I need you to stay here for a second. All right, sir. None of us wants to be involved in this. All right, but I can smell alcohol coming from your breath. I've got this right here. Yeah. Everything's on camera. I got to take it by the numbers.
Change the tire.
I got to take it by the numbers. We're going to review if your friend in there was driving, as you say. We'll see that on the camera. I can go talk to him. Everything will be good.
This is what I was talking about. This is the corruption that I'm talking about. See, he knows it too. He knows this can go away right now if this officer just submits to sort of the coercion, corruption, whatever influence he has. He's now trying to use that to his benefit. And the problem, of course, is that everybody doesn't get to do that.
All right. What's that? Okay. All right, sit tight. All right.
I would say awkward.
Seriously? Okay. I'll tell you what, leave the car here. Leave it.
Nope, sir, I'm going to ask you to stay here. Stay put, all right? Why? Till we figure this out. Because based on what I'm seeing here and smelling alcohol in your breath, I'm going to have to do an investigation through this, okay? Okay. All right? And if
So right here, I'm going to say I have to hand it to this officer. He has my respect. Look, this isn't easy to do. There's, everybody knows everybody. When they're working with each other, they're backing up each other's calls. They all know each other, yet he's taken the high ground. He's going to do what his pledge, what his oath was, and he's going to actually hold the sheriff accountable. I respect him.
Everything is fine. If it determines that there's no...
Change the tire.
No, he's not changing the tire right now. Absolutely not.
You can change the tire.
He's not changing the tire yet.
Yeah. Okay. Want to go down our road, huh? Okay.
I want to take everything right by the numbers and by the book, sir.
Okay.
By the numbers and by the book, sir.
As if to suggest maybe you could turn that camera off and we could have a discussion off camera.
That's what we do. That's correct. Yeah.
It's clear by the sheriff's body language that he is likely secretly signaling for his lieutenant to deactivate his body camera, which the lieutenant refuses to do.
Right. And if at the end of it everything is good...
Stop turning towards me.
Oh, sir, just stand over here for me, all right?
I'm not going to go back in the front.
No, you're not going back in the casino. All right, sir. Sir, I understand you are the sheriff. I respect that immensely. But right now, I'm conducting an investigation, okay? I need you to stay here and follow the directions,
100%.
okay? All right?
You can't pop the tire, huh?
What's that?
You can't pop a
You're not
tire.
going to be able to put a tire on that rim anyways. That rim is completely and utterly destroyed.
I think I'm my guy.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Where, do you know where you ran
Yes, I
something
do.
over? Where was it?
Right up on the corner. And I took the turn.
Took the turn into here?
Yeah.
Okay. It looks like there's a plant on there. Was there a plant that
Might have been.
might have been? But that's where it was. So the remnants of the tire should
Yep.
be down. Should be down that way. You don't
I have
know?
no idea.
Okay. Can I ask you where you're coming from today?
Springfield Country Club.
Springfield Country Club.
Yeah.
All right. The golf tournament?
No.
No, we're just there.
Was there playing golf?
We're there playing golf. Okay.
Yeah.
What are you waiting for? I'm waiting for another one of my supervisors. We can have two people here, okay?
Good.
All right. That way, everything's
No, it's all
recorded,
good. It's all
everything's
good.
vetted,
It's all
everything's
good.
going to be nice and easy,
Yeah.
okay, sir?
It's all good.
All right. Officer Cotto. Can you head down to the corner at East Columbus and just see if there's any remnants of the tire there at all? That's where you were and there was nothing there? The right
May not be.
It may not be where you hit it? Okay.
That's where I hit it, but
Okay. Did you, after turning in here and hitting it, did you drive anywhere else where we could find the tire?
no.
No? Okay, I'm just saying, the tire should be somewhere between
Yes,
where
we'll
that was
look.
hit and here.
Yeah,
Okay.
we'll look.
Just do me a favor one more time, just walk down there and then walk the whole way back to see if we can find the tire. Appreciate your understanding.
You're a good man.
I appreciate your understanding.
Yeah.
Someone coming over from Beacon. Okay. We're gonna take a walk over where we're a little bit out of sight. Okay? No? How much you had to drink tonight, sir? Couple beers?
Yeah. Keep recording me. We're not going nowhere.
Okay. I'd like to ask you to do field sobriety.
Nope, not gonna happen.
Not gonna happen?
I'm not driving.
Let me say something about field sobriety, because this does become something in my day-to-day, representation of people. And I do represent people sometimes accused of similar offenses. And so here's what I'll say about those field sobriety tests. No one ever passes those tests. And if there's any concern, even if you don't think that you're impaired, all that refusing to do those tests does is then will force the next test, which is typically some sort of a measurement device like a breathalyzer, something like that. But all that those probable cause sort of, field sobriety tests in the field, all those usually end up doing is show somebody stumbling around, not walking, essentially supporting the fact that they're impaired. That's why the sheriff isn't going to go walking anywhere on camera. And that's why the sheriff is not going to do any field sobriety tests. And that's why the next part of this is going to be then to give him the breath test based on the probable cause they have at this point. But he's not giving him anything more than what they already have.
Feel sobriety for what?
All right. What's that? Okay. Well, you drove in.
That was a long time ago. What's up, Nikki? I'm by my car.
Sir, when you went into the casino, did you have any drinks in the casino?
Negative.
You did not have any drinks in the casino? Because that's what we're waiting on right now. We're trying to figure out if you went in and had anything inside.
Zero.
You had nothing inside, so anything was at the golf course?
Yep.
Okay.
Well, and this is an important legal thing, and I'm glad the sheriff is being honest about this, but he also knows they're going to go in and verify it, right? And so the idea of post-operation consumption is what this is about. It's like, well, if you went into the casino, you were sober when you got here, going to the casino and you slammed 3 drinks, those weren't while you were driving, and you could show that. But he knows that's not going to work because this officer's doing their job correctly, and they're going to check. They're already going to catch him in some misrepresentations of material facts.
All right, sir, can you come over here? I want to talk to you a little bit more. All right. I'd like you, I'm going to be very straightforward with you. All right. You came from East Columbus, you turned in here, we can't find the tire. Okay. That's fine. There's clear indications that that rim is pretty destroyed.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. You got here about 6:40 something, 6:45, so maybe 25 minutes before you and I start interacting, somewhere around a half hour. You've got clear indications of alcohol consumption.
100%.
All right, I can tell that you've admitted alcohol consumption. You got your speech a little bit slurred. All right, I can smell it coming off your breath. I can see the redness in your eyes. I'd ask you to I'm going to ask you a second time if you will perform field sobriety so I can determine if you are safe to drive. Okay, I have a PBT that can sort this out right now.
Not going to happen.
Okay, so you're going to refuse field sobriety.
Yep.
All right, you're not going to take the BBT.
Yep.
You admit the alcohol consumption. All right, a little bit driving. Okay.
Here's the point about a little bit, and here's a little bit about the whole idea of smelling alcohol. Drinking and driving, unless you've got some restriction on your license, is not illegal. I tell that to people all the time. You can drink and drive. I drink and drive. What you can't be is you can't be over the legal limit, or you can't be impaired even if you're under the legal limit. But merely the odor of alcohol coming from someone's breath without anything else, that's not illegal. That's not a probable cause for anything other than I had a couple beers. That's why the sheriff is saying it that way. Again, trying to give the investigator a way out to just let him go and use this story.
Okay.
If that's what you're,
All right. Well,
you're
then
assume.
Then at that point.
While the body cam footage is redacted, this is when the sheriff's official arrest takes place. The body cam resumes right after the sheriff is placed in handcuffs.
Your wallet's inside the car. We're going to go ahead and grab that for you. Okay. All right. Officer, can you just sit with him for a minute? I'll take him in my cruiser. All right. So this is your wallet right here. All right. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put it in your pocket so you have it with you. Is there a phone somewhere that you'd like to bring? In your pocket. All right. Can I put this 10 in your vehicle so you don't have to take it? All right. So you got your wallet over here. This is your phone right in the back. All right, this is just a golf tee. I'm going to put that right in here as well. Okay. All right, we're going to walk down to my unmarked sergeant and have you come with me as well. All right.
Stay with the towing and just let him fix it.
No, if they're able to fix it,
Okay.
we don't need to tow a county vehicle. If he's able to fix it and we can get somebody who is properly can drive it. All right, the keys are inside there. So listen for a sec. Sure, the keys are right in the middle. There's also a $50 bill. Do you want me to leave that in there? Or do you want it with you? You're comfortable. Who do you want to take possession of that vehicle? Is it okay? That gentleman right there works for you? He does? And you can arrange for someone to take it? Yep, that's fine. We can get out of here properly, that's fine. All right, come on down. It's going to be the black SUV at the very end. We're going to go right around. I'm going to put you in the front passenger seat, all right? I think I have a jacket on there. Just make sure. Nope, nothing's there. Special thing. Sure.
This appears to be a little professional courtesy, getting to ride in the front seat while you're actually in custody.
Oh, careful. You can move anything over there. Just ride with me.
After a very awkward car ride, the sheriff is transported to the police station to continue with his booking process. Later that night, the lieutenant returns to the area surrounding the casino, as damage to a vehicle and scratch marks on the road were found that could be related to this incident.
We are trying to backtrack the path of the vehicle involved.
And this is one of the things that bothers me particularly about this too, is that it's not just an innocent, nobody got hurt. Somebody did get damaged. There's property damage. Somebody's going to have to pay for that, even if it's just the deductible.
Incident this evening, we did come across a vehicle with scrapes on it that does appear fresh. However, it has both white and hints of red to it. In the center line of the road, there are scrapes that appear consistent also with the tire rim that we viewed up ahead. And we're going to walk up looking at those scrapes as well. More scrapes in the middle of the roadway, consistent with path. More scrapes in the middle of the roadway, consistent with path.
If these scrapes lead to the location where they found the sheriff's vehicle, officers can be certain that this damage was caused by the sheriff himself, and may also be able to develop probable cause for leaving the scene of a crash. The sheriff was charged with operating a vehicle under the influence. It's unknown why the prosecutor did not seek a separate charge for leaving the scene of a crash. However, we are the first news organization to report on it. A local news network provides interesting insight into Sheriff Kochi's response to this incident.
Hampden County Sheriff Nick Kochi freely admits Saturday, September 21st, was not a good day for him. He was arrested outside MGM Springfield for driving while intoxicated, and subsequently suspended for several days without pay.
I feel very blessed as the sheriff of Hampden County, but more.
Okay, so at this point, he's made some grave errors. He knows it. What is a guy like that? If he's really a good guy, what does he do? Does he fess up? Does he deny? What does he do? What would you expect him to do? When he was drunk when he made all of these little signs and all that, but now that he's sober, what do we expect a guy like that to do? They're busted.
Only as the person, Nick Kochi. There's no question 6 weeks ago was not one of my finest moments.
Kochi immediately took ownership for that behavior. Leaving court after his arraignment in late September, he pulled no punches, pointing the finger squarely at himself.
So today, I take full responsibility for what happened this past Saturday.
Now, some 46 days later, and after paying nearly $2,500 to cover the costs of repair to the state vehicle he was driving at the time, the sheriff is humbled by the outpouring of support and understanding from the community and says he won't let them down again.
And if there's a day that comes up and you don't show your best version, well, tomorrow you wake up and you make sure your version's better. And that's a lesson that I've kept with me my entire life. And it's one that has really helped me over the last 6 weeks continue to show who Nick Kochi is. Never mind the sheriff part. Who am I as a person?
Kochi, in his second 6-year term as sheriff, says he's resilient, strong, compassionate, and most of all, coming out of this experience a better person.
Good people can make a bad decision. Let's not judge them on their bad decision. Let's judge them on who they are and how they respond to what they've done.
After his arraignment, Sheriff Kochi was given a continuance without a finding of guilt for 1 year, meaning his charge will be dismissed if he avoids further legal trouble during that period. His driver's license was also temporarily suspended, and he was required to attend an OUI education program. As of April 2025, there are no reports indicating Kochi has encountered further legal trouble. In fact, in January 2025, he was appointed vice president of the Massachusetts Sheriff's Association.
Okay, so, I have to hand it to the sheriff. That's not easy to do, take your medicine. I don't know that he had a whole lot of choice about that. I commend the lieutenant for not being influenced by what would be a very uncomfortable thing when you're arresting your boss. And I would also say that the ultimate jury in this is going to be the electorate when he comes up for re-election again. But at the end of the day, I think after the fact, he did what he could do. He took the responsibility. I'm not really clear about why the prosecutor didn't hold responsibility for that accident. Maybe there was enough evidence. Maybe they didn't try enough to get evidence. But at the end of the day, I'm going to say you can't do any better than taking responsibility at the end. And if every police officer got a DWI, and that's genuinely his feeling about it, is realizing that they have to treat people better, listen to them better, and understand good people do things sometimes that get them in trouble, and that's the outcome of this, well, you tell me whether you think that has value. Until the next time, from the Wolfgram Worldwide headquarters, this is Wolf 6 out here.